Hey, hey, hey. Welcome to my channel. My name is Emmy from Emmy Evolving. If this is your first time joining me, thank you for finding me. This is not your first time. Thank you for coming back. So, right now I'm going to be doing a Claire Tarot reading for the collective whole. This reading is for a message coming through. Tidal wave of change is coming. Um, Tidal wave of change is coming. So I'm not too sure what that means. If that is for like individual journeys or if that's just for the collective whole. Honestly, it feels like it's for both. And for those who um, feel like they don't want change, the change is coming. Change is just coming, and we can't at this point really stop it. Um, there's a lot of things being rewritten is honestly what I'm feeling. A lot of things being rewritten. Um, whatever contracts, whatever whatever you've thought about how things are supposed to go, it's definitely going to be different. Definitely going to be different. It feels like even those who have precog abilities, the things you were shown in the past somehow shifted over the past maybe 24 hours. Something seriously shifted, and that shift is going to translate as massive waves of change. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Okay. Uh, dang. It's getting real crazy up in here. What deck do you want me to pull from? All right. Almost done, guys. Almost done. All right. There we go. Yikes. Okay. This will work out. This will work out. Okay. Interesting. Very interesting. Oops. Oh, hold on. Here it goes. Card number 26. Relax the hold of darkness and be at cause. So many of us have been basically held in like some sort of death grip by dark things. Um, our thoughts about life, our thoughts about what's going on with society. It's created such a almost like a whirlpool where you're not just being um, pushed and pulled around, but you're also being sucked under. Okay. So it's a very overwhelming process that we have been in, this swirling of energy, the struggle between your light and your dark. It's a lot. It's definitely a lot. And it's time for us to call our energy back to us and pause for a moment and allow ourselves to really understand what it is that's going on. Um, it's a lot of manipulation going on. Okay. A lot of manipulation going on. And that's because um, there are those who want and need you to react and behave in a certain way in order for us to continue with this designed it's like serfdom. Really none of us are free. All of us are in some way being owned and controlled by others, and this is needing to change. It's needing to change, and it's like a sink that's overflowing, and the drain is finally being opened, and we're getting sucked down the drain. Some of us are not going to be able to be drained. Okay. You just have to kind of go with the flow and see what happens. Um, this card, I don't know why, it just makes me so uncomfortable. It's like this sense that you've been carrying around a yoke, as though you're some sort of beast of burden here simply to harvest and provide for something outside of yourself. And I'm not talking about family. I'm definitely not talking about family. We've been chained to something that we fail to even recognize is there. We've been carrying this on our shoulders for such a long time. And I don't think our higher selves are willing to do this anymore. Okay. I just don't. I feel like it's come to a point where um, you're either going to allow the change in your life, or you're going to be forced to change, dragged along down the street. If you're not going to walk down the street, you're going to be dragged down the street, not by any individual, but by your higher self. This change, it's inevitable. It's inevitable. So, card number 21, it's time to lead. Where are you going to lead yourself? Within your mind, where are you going to lead your thoughts? Are you going to allow yourself to continue to run in circles within your mind? You're not allowed to think this way. You have to think this. You're not allowed to think this way. You have to think this. How about you just allow your higher self to lead you to the very thoughts that are necessary in order for you to understand what it is you're experiencing right now? Fact is, all of us volunteered to be here at this time on this earth plane, experiencing everything we're experiencing together, yet separately. We all volunteered to be here at this time. We have the possibility, the potentiality of clearing away so many lifetimes worth of karmic load. So many lifetimes of karmic load. And if we're not going to utilize this life intentionally to clear that, intentionally clear it, I don't know what's going to happen. I think not so good things might happen. And people might be like, oh my gosh, she's just talking about negative. No, I'm talking about real. I'm talking about real. Up till this point, all we have looked for are people who will sugarcoat and basically lie to our faces in order to tiptoe around our feelings. You're supposed to feel things. You feel mad at me because I speak truth? Good. Good, because it's dissolving that base of lies that you have built your life on. Be mad at me. Be frustrated. Be annoyed. Feel something aside from placated, lulled into complacency. Feel something. It's time to start feeling something. If you don't feel pissed off about what's going on in the world, whether you're pissed off because you feel there's one group that has an injustice, or you're pissed off that small business owners are being bankrupted by the government and now by people who are destroying what they've built, or you're pissed off because this twin flame shit, or you're pissed off because you lost your job, or be pissed off. We have lived our entire life being told we are not allowed to be pissed off. Why is that? Because by the time you're pissed off, you will no longer accept just laying down while someone kicks you over and over and over. When you're pissed off, you begin to think about how to get yourself out of the bullshit that you have been buried in. And that's why you're not allowed to be pissed off. That's why Emmie is crazy, because she gets pissed off while she's live. She's crazy because she has a human experience instead of putting on a show and like, I'm going to pretend everything's okay because I have people watching me. No, it's time to actually feel what you feel. Granted, you don't need to wild out just because you're pissed off. You don't. But you do need to feel. It's time for us to really lead ourselves to the places we have been avoiding. I avoid too. So it's not like I'm just up here preaching and telling you guys you're doing it all wrong. I'm saying we need to recognize the type of changes we need to make. And it begins with what you allow yourself to be exposed to? Where do you lead yourself? Do you lead yourself yet to another slaughterhouse, a slaughterhouse of emotionally devoid, sugar coated bullshit to keep you in the same cycles? That's up to you. Sagittarius, I see. Luck is not chance, it's toil. Fortune's expensive smile is earned. You're just about ready to hit your mark. Let's see. Okay. It's time to release routine. Routine is just cumbersome. Let's see. Ooh, this is about an energy of needing extra space, looser reins. This is what's going on with society. Extra space and looser reins. We have had a choke collar on from birth. Oh, that's deep. Not realizing that you have had a choke collar on you since the time of your birth, where you're not allowed to speak your truth. You're not allowed to speak truth, period. You're not allowed to speak. And so many of us, we experience this. We experience this. Either we've bought into that or we keep talking and people dismiss us. We really exist in societies that were created, structured in such a way where truly listening, truly hearing, is not really allowed. It's frowned upon. We're encouraged to listen just enough to be able to respond in a way that can help us to assert our intellectual, economical, societal dominance. That's really what goes on with conversations. That is really what goes on with conversations. I used to partake in that, and I recognized, what am I doing? Am I really listening? Am I really holding symposium with another soul? Or am I just, standing here and looking for other points I can jump at their throat from? Uh-huh. If you find yourself cutting people off a lot, um, that's probably where it's rooted in. This need to overcompensate for a feeling of lack of value, lack of intelligence, lack of voice. And I recognized when I used to do that, that's exactly where it was coming from, where I didn't feel smart. I didn't feel enough. And so when someone would say something that would give me a very solid base from which to jump to another attack, uh, I would take it. Oh, absolutely. I would take it. Cut you off right in the middle of your word just so I could show you I'm smarter. This is my time to prove it. I'm smarter. But is it really smarter? Or is it just more of emotional instability? I don't know. Let's see. So this ties into the Six of Wands: freedom, exploration, lucky breaks, travel, philosophy, and honesty. Um, it's time to take a good gamble. Your future looks promising because you're ready to expand and grow beyond your limits. If you do encounter difficulties, you will surmount them easily and move forward to your next lucky break, in which life should be coming soon. So there's a lot of things coming that we don't always realize is coming. There might come a need for following your own rhythm. Sometimes there will come a need for you to turn away from your light and instead face your darkness, face your shadow, not because it's time to kill any aspects of yourself, but because it's time to allow your eyes to adjust to the truth. The reason it's so common for people to try and force everyone into this love and light BS is because when you're constantly exposed to nothing but light, you become light blind. You don't actually see what's going on. It affects your spiritual vision. And so people are able to get away with more of their bullshit. It would be very, very easy for me to go ahead and grow a huge audience very, very quickly by just being nothing but love and light. Do you know how many people I could attract by speaking in a whisper? never speaking of the difficult things, and just life is so beautiful. No, 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 you're not hurting. That's just ascension. It's okay. Let's just meditate. No, 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 no. You don't have to address shadow. That's evil. It has to be killed. Just ignore that. The more you can ignore shadow, the more beautiful your life will be. But in reality, that's the more fake it is. And the more fake your life is, and not said in a derogatory way, but used as the adjective that it is, a falsity, fakeness. The more fake it is, the more misaligned you are, and the less likely you will feel any sort of satisfaction, any sort of accomplishment, any sort of anything. And is that the point to life? Just achieving things, having tally marks on your board of what you've accomplished, how many certificates you've earned, all of that. I don't think so. I think you're really here to experience the truth of your essence. And there will always be people brought to you to help you experience that, every aspect of yourself. Whether people are brought to you to show you how abrasive you can be, how you're too nice and too gentle, and you too easily overlook things, and people will always point these things out. Are they being bad or mean or any of that? I like to think everyone that's brought to me in this life um, are people who are brought to me to show me something about myself. And there are those who would be so quick to say, "Oh, you're just so self-centered. All you think about is yourself." Well, who exactly should I be thinking about? Who should my life revolve around? No matter what you do, there will be people who exist who will tell you you're doing it wrong. No matter what you do, no matter how good you do it, there will always exist people, at least one person, who will truly believe, truly feel that you are a horrible person doing it wrong. And who cares? Who cares? You are ready to really hold the greatness that you are within the palm of your hands, consciously doing so. Some of us already have this greatness in the palm of our hands, but we don't quite allow ourselves to recognize it because, again, it's taboo for you to understand your worth. It's wrong. You're cocky. You're so full of yourself. Again, who exactly should you be full of? And when you allow yourself to be full of someone else, simply regurgitating what they're saying, which is most likely a regurgitation of someone else. Oh my God, you're such a follower. Oh my God, you're such a clone. Okay. So really, what's the solution? How do you get through this tidal wave of change? By allowing yourself to flow. And some would say only dead fish flow. Even dead fish serve a purpose. In their decay, they allow for the sustenance of others, the nourishment of others. So if you feel like you're nothing but a dead fish flowing, just kind of floating along and being pushed here and there and people taking pieces of you, um, maybe at that part of your journey, that's what your purpose is, allowing for the nourishment of others as you transform into something else. Because that fish will eventually, although it's rotten and considered no longer usable, it eventually turns into something else. Fish makes amazing fertilizer. It serves the growth of so many. So you have to allow yourself to recognize, maybe in this life, what I'm here to do is serve the growth of others by simply existing, not with any intention of achieving some sort of notoriety, but just a recognition that even in my decay, I'm useful. That's so powerful. That is so powerful. Pretty much every single live stream that I've had since I began live streaming is a documentation of different aspects of my decay. And in that sharing of that decay of my previous previous life, because now I don't feel like I live the same life that I did a long time ago and even just a year ago. I'm just such a different person every single time. And that's the thing. That's the key, allowing yourself to transform, to metamorphosize in whatever way, shape, or form your higher self guides you to, not just aesthetics, not just what fascinates you, but really allowing your heart to be broken and split wide open to allow yourself to receive all these different aspects of you. It's a lot. It's a lot. You know, it's very difficult to wrap your mind around something so vast and profound. And that's what each of our consciousness is, an extremely vast thing that how do you even describe it? The moment you begin to try and put labels on things is the moment you begin to limit yourself. That's the moment you begin to limit yourself. People will take these labels and use them as badges of honor, like I've achieved this and um, I come from that, and they don't even really know what the meanings of these things are. They really don't. People are so quick to claim Blu-ray. I'm a Blu-ray, I'm peaceful and I'm evolved. You realize Blu-rays are like military. Part of their function is to fully destroy that which causes imbalance. Blu-ray is violent. Blu-ray is destructive. Blu-ray harnesses darkness so dark humanity could not begin to comprehend what that darkness is. But with all of that negativity, perceived negativity, Blu-ray is very much tempered with grace, compassion, a heart that bleeds right along with yours. And people don't understand that. They only see one aspect of a totality, failing to realize the entire thing needs to be accepted in order to actually become it once again. That's deep. A lot of change coming. A lot of change is coming because people have become exhausted trying to keep up the show. So many people have become exhausted. And maybe what's going on right now with the financial aspect of this implosion, this self destruction, is that it will free people to stop with the influencer bullshit, where you're putting yourself in massive debt and you're basically slowly killing yourself just to put on a show. That needs to stop, because then it creates this ripple effect of everyone else needs to now purchase things that they can't afford, live in a way that they can't afford. You know what? No, I'm not doing that. Nope, nope, nope. That's the very reason why I have no problem just randomly throwing out there. I don't like to purchase clothing. I don't like to purchase expensive things. I'm very frugal. I look for ways to cut corners with costs. Yeah, I have no problem saying that. I live very, very simply in an old house on a farm. There's dirt all around me. Yep, it's a beautiful existence, because it frees me to truly experience this life. And maybe if we allow ourselves to be free of the material show that we put on, and many of us do this, we show it by what we purchase for ourselves, and before, how we could eat out at expensive restaurants. And yeah, it's a lot, it's a lot, but everything needs to be returned to perfect balance. Everything needs to be returned to perfect balance, where you can allow yourself to exist in a state of shedding and not be ashamed of losing those layers. That's profound, because a lot of us were shamed into not allowing the shedding because, oh my God, I'm such a mess. Oh, you know what? Hey, my name is Emmy and I'm a mess consistently. And I think it's amazing. Being someone who used to have to exist with everything put in its perfect place, and a level of perfectionism that was so crippling. I am proud to say I am a mess, a beautiful chaotic mess that's hard to predict because I'm constantly in the native flow of my energy. Native flow, not one that's forced, not one that's created, not one that's, synthetic. Mm-mm. I'm constantly in native flow. I could go this way and then randomly out of nowhere turn the other way, do a 180. And I'm free to do that. No one gets to tell me that I can't. But wherever I allow this organic flow to go, I'm fully responsible for what happens after that. Fully responsible. I take full ownership of decisions and lack thereof for this entire life. And that's part of the major change that's coming. You needing to take full ownership of your decisions, doing away with structures that are here to govern and constrict, to take away your sovereignty from you because what you're incapable of deciding for yourself. If I want to shave my hair off, I should be free to do it. No, you can't shave your hair off because there's these lists of reasons why you can't shave your hair off. If I want to get a vaccination, I should be free to do it. Well, I don't want to get a vaccination. Well, you have to. You have to because the herd, which is bullshit, is bullshit. Okay. You are not a cow. You are not chattel. You are not a commodity to be traded and therefore kept in a preserved state in order to maintain your value. You have intrinsic value with you no matter what state you're in, no matter what level of flux, no matter what level of shedding, you have an intrinsic value. And once you recognize that, you will stop allowing people to barter down that value. You are not bargain basement. You are not clearance unless you allow yourself to be. And that's the most important thing. You have to allow this in order for your worth to be diminished. You have to agree to it in some way, shape, or form. You have to agree to it. Oh my God, Emmie, I can't believe you charge so much for your services. Well, yeah, that's the value. You either agree with it and purchase or you don't. And if you don't, that's okay. You don't agree with what I believe the value of my work is. That's okay. That's okay because I don't have to provide you a service. That's okay. But that's the value. And people, they worked so hard for so many years to try and shame me. So hard for so many years to try and shame me. Why did I not feel shame? Because I finally got tired of people telling me that I'm not worth what I am. I finally got tired of agreeing with that. And if we're going to be really honest, if we're really, really going to be honest, the way you set your value is not how much profit you think you can make. What would you pay for that? If someone else could offer you that, what would you be willing to pay? And that's what your value is. If someone can offer you the type of energetic healing, that level of healing, that depth of healing, that depth of understanding of yourself and your journey, what would you pay for that? That's what your value is. And until you recognize what your value is, I'm pretty sure there's not going to be people. It would be very rare, very, very rare to have people who would disagree with you and tell you, no, that needs to be more. That needs to be more. You're selling yourself short. That's very rare. That only comes from the people who actually truly see what it is you're doing, what it is you're here for. The people who have done their own work and to some degree finally understand their value too. And that's rare, not because it's difficult to get there. It's rare because it's difficult to allow yourself to release the programming that sets you free. That's why. And you have a lot of people, a shit ton of people who will try and convince you that because you have gifts, you should not be compensated. Why is that? Because they don't value what you are doing. You know why? Is it because you have no value? No. It's because they don't value the healing that it will give them. Most people will not accept something unless there's a tangible thing they can hold. Unless it's a physical good that you can put in their hand. There's no value in healing, the parts of me that are causing my suffering. Why is that? Well, because I deserve the suffering. I was born with sin. I deserve suffering. If you say so. if you say so. I like to believe that the God I was taught, the one that exists within a Bible, um, loves its creation so much and it's so omnipotent, all knowing, that it wouldn't intentionally make things broken, that all the things that it creates have purpose, that every single one of us are created in perfect measure for the purpose we're here to experience. I even have, I remember as a child, I would have these visuals, this like thought that God was in a lab and okay, this one, we're going to give it a few more grams of anger. This one, we're going to make it a little bit more gentle to help create balance, because the angry one is going to break down the walls and the gentle one is going to very lovingly rebuild. Everything's made with purpose. I mean, how come we can't just kill demons? Because God created demons and they serve God's work. But they're evil only to your limited perception. But they're dark, and dark is needed to give gravity, texture, and depth to light. Oh, so you like demons, Emmy? Not really, but I understand their function. And you cannot, as a human being, overthrow a divinity. You just can't. You have all these limitations to your concepts that constrict the flow of power. And so you never will be able to overthrow something like that, ever. And once you release enough of those limitations to tap into unlimited power, you wouldn't want to overthrow it. And that's the beautiful thing about divinity. You then begin to understand everything fits together so beautifully. Even the pain, the suffering, all of that, it all fits together so beautifully. So now, card number 5, Mars Force. Some shit's gonna happen. Some shit is definitely gonna happen. It's gonna be intense. It's gonna be difficult to ignore it. Suggests there's something you may have to fight for. Mars is the rule of sexuality and aggression. It means to push back in terms of defense. When you may either face aggressive situations with a need to confront or defend, or an intense, rousing sexual encounter, which may or may not involve romance. Mars indicates overwhelming attractions. We are bringing to us the very things we are attracted to. And hey, you know what? You can believe whatever you want to believe, but we are a people who have been programmed to be attracted to violence. We are attracted to violence. And so violence has come. Okay? Aggression, violence, just all kinds of really destructive things. It's now at our doorsteps. And I can't say that it's unnecessary. Okay? I can't say that it's unnecessary, because this aggression, this destructiveness is the very thing that's tearing down the system that has enslaved us. So it needs to happen. It needs to happen. And it's going to be ugly. It's going to be something that creates a lot of fear, a lot of sense of instability, on so many levels, in so many ways. Um, how do you know something is stable? How do you know if something is stable? How do you know if something's unstable? Because of how you experience both. Now, one would maybe think that once you experience a very profound degree of instability, you will have a very profound appreciation for the stability that's created afterwards, right? Right. We don't realize that. In order to fully appreciate that which is coming, we have to first experience the polar opposite of what it is we're creating. So, if you take a good hard look at what's going on, the amount of destruction and separation, hatred, all of that, all that negativity, all that density, and you try and comprehend the polar opposite of that, how beautiful it is when this is all done. And you can't rush it. You can't rush through it. You have to take it as it is. And this is being decided by the collective whole. You can sit there and be like, oh, it's these people, it's those people. If people would just, well, you're feeding the same beast with that lack of understanding of what's going on. You're feeding attention, energy. You're paying attention, so you're feeding it energy. You're paying attention to all of this. Uh, I was gonna use the term Michael said. Whatever. All right. So the Mars card, action is needed. You're being challenged to protect your interests or to move ahead quickly. Fire has been lit under the passions, and it's time to achieve what you want in life. Um, it could also indicate a formidable competitor has just arrived on the scene. I believe the formidable competitor would be those who are trying to convince you that you are a horrible person for not partaking in the ugly of this world. Y'all can be ugly without me. I'm going to be over here on the farm just being me, nice and chill, just being me. So, card number 23, defend to the end the worthwhile. We're in the process of rebirthing our gnosis, our knowledge, our knowing. Knowing, knowledge put into action is wisdom. We have spent our entire lives learning things, failing to realize every single event, circumstance, connection in your life is teaching you something. And all these things that we've learned, um, we don't put it into action. We didn't put it into play. We just, yeah, that happened to me. Let me go ahead and go through that again because apparently I don't realize that's already happened to me. I already know where that type of connection is going and I already know how it feels. So let me just go ahead and feel it again because I failed to understand what it is that I felt, why I felt it, how I co-created it, all of this. Right. Revolution isn't always nonviolent. Sometimes the internal revolution, the revolution within ourselves that helps to get us to see that these mental cages need to be destroyed because the door's always been unlocked. The door's been open. It's more than unlocked. The door's been open, but we just have not allowed ourselves to walk through it out of fear. So, yeah, sometimes the revolution within is also a violent one where you don't know who you are. A lot of feeling of upheaval within yourself, within your thoughts. Who am I now? I don't know who I am. We'll figure it out. That's a beautiful thing to not know who you are because you've just released your participation in the programming that tells you you're supposed to be this person, regardless of whether or not you are that person. The person most people believe themselves to be is nothing more than a conglomeration of the perceptions of all the people in their lives who believe that this person should be this for me. That's who you think you are. I exist in a constant state of I don't know who I am. Let's figure out who I am today. What am I supposed to learn about myself today? What aspect of myself is going to come forward today? Is it a serious aspect? Is it a playful one? Is it something that's going to make me cry? Well, baby girl, if you're crying, that means you need to release something. So let those tears flow before you stop yourself up even more. I mean, why can't we take things seriously? Well, baby girl, sometimes you just gotta laugh about shit because the things that you can't change, you can't be heartbroken over that shit. You have to laugh about the stupidity of the shit that goes on because if you don't, you're gonna find yourself crying. And you don't like to cry, so pick one or the other. Tears or laughter, pick one. And whatever you pick, it's right. Whatever you pick, that is your divine choice. And creation has to honor that. And just because you cope differently than other people doesn't mean shit. Oh my God, Emmie, you're not showing enough anger about what's going on. Well, you know what? You don't know what I feel inside. Regardless of how I express it, my journey is my own. And I will express what I feel in whatever way I feel is right. And I will own the aftermath of that. So if I'm very angry and I want to be very destructive and tear people down, that's my choice. But I also reap whatever it is I sow. I can't later be like, I can't believe people can't understand that I was just hurting. Well, honey, you should have picked a different way to hurt. Everyone's hurting over something. Everyone is hurting over something. Some people are just better at hiding it than others, but everybody is hurting over something. So just because you're hurting does not exempt you from taking ownership of what you created, the results that you created. So, card number 1, Sun Spirit. You have to allow your internal sun to come out. That Sun Spirit is masculine energy. It's not depletable. Um, it's about needing to express who you are, the desire to bring on the outside what exists on the inside. It's the positivity that trumps anything negative. All things that are truly meaningful are starting to happen now. You may find yourself singled out, perhaps in a dramatic situation where you show your skills in some impromptu ways. What you are doing now is being noticed. This is a progressive, energetic card which foretells of prodigious things on the horizon. This card indicates that matters will be going your way because it's time to act. You have the Mars card, you have the Sun card, you have the Sagittarius. You are actually seeing what's going on. You are now being called to action. If you need to break down doors, you break down doors within yourself, within society. You do it with no shame and no hesitation. And that's what's happening right now. Change. What is inside is now coming out. We are tilling the field. That's what I'm hearing. When you till a field, whatever exists in that field is destroyed. It's destroyed. Whatever small vermin, whatever it is, bugs, it's a very violent act, but we choose not to see it that way. We're working the land. We're preparing to plant a harvest. We're preparing to create nutritious things. It's the same thing with spiritual growth. You have to till your garden, the garden of your mind, which is a very destructive thing. That growth internally is very destructive. And if there are people who are trying to make you think that because they're woke, they have some sort of peace that you don't deserve because you're not woke, they're faking it. They're faking it. I'm not joking. Those who truly awaken from some perceived slumber, they're fucking mad. They're depressed. Let that sink in. Ascension is internal destruction. It's not some namaste, love and light, bubbles type of bullshit. It's not. So if you feel yourself getting angry about what you're witnessing in your life, in society, you don't have anger problems. You're waking up. If you notice, whenever I say I have anger issues, it's said with sarcasm. My level of anger, righteous anger, is my level of awakeness, consciousness expansion, my lack of understanding why people would choose to continue to perpetuate a system that has enslaved not just them, but also all their ancestors. So, yeah, I have anger issues because I'm pissed off that people choose to continue to partake in things that we don't need to. Card number 6, reveal your gifts. And then we have Queen of Water. You are the queen of your own kingdom. It's time for you to reveal your gifts. Let go of that shame. Let go of the stigma of what if I'm different? What if people don't understand? Well, if you're going to make change in this world, you can't be the same. You can't continue to share in the same level of consciousness that helped to perpetuate the problems that we're facing right now. You have to be different in order for people to understand you can exist outside of the box. You have to exist outside of the box. For the people who want to wake others up, yes, I know, babe. For the people who want to wake others up, you do this by living your truth, not by preaching, not by giving them links, not by tearing them down and telling them they're not woke enough and they're sheeple and all this other bullshit term that's used that I used to use as well. because it's not your job to try and dominate anyone. There's nothing woke about that. What's woke is when you very lovingly support, very gently encourage, and allow someone to blossom in their own time, in their own way. It's not your job to tell someone they're fucking up. And people who have the time to tell other people in an unsolicited manner that they're fucking up, you're the one who has the most fucked up existence because you're so busy focusing on other people that you haven't grown yourself. And with that, I'm out. I got a session. Thank you guys. Thumbs up. Please subscribe. If you haven't already subscribed, turn on that notification bell. I'll see you guys again later. Bye.